Okay, can you hear me loud and clear now? Okay, I've just fixed my audio. Can you hear me? Right, I can see a lot of yeses now. Awesome. All right, so let me just do one more check here just to make sure everything is okay. Okay, right. Okay, looks like our audio is fantastic now. Anyway, I was saying, welcome to the Divi Feature Update Live. I'm really excited today because I have a brand new episode where we're going to be talking about the new Divi options plus brand new interface enhancements for the Divi Builder. So these features are really cool because they make our design process much easier. So I'll be going through these, and just to give you an idea, these are UI adjustments and also new settings for the Divi Builder. So there's quite a few to cover here, but there are hundreds of these updates done to the Visual Builder to make it easy for us to work faster using Divi. Right, now before we begin, I'd like to welcome everyone. And here we have Mohammed Asmal. We also have Stephen JVR. We have GS. We also have Naveed, George, Martin, and we also have Juan Rodriguez, Mutasir, Tony, Jay. And also, if it helps if you let us know where you're watching this show from, it just gives you an idea of how far we are broadcasting our Divi Feature Update Live. All right, so we also have Scott here, my video guy. We also have Miles Harris. Good to see you all. Constantine, great. Constantine is from Romania. Awesome. We have Krishnam, I think, from India. Rob Chalk is from Wolverhampton. Wow, not too far from me. I'm actually in Birmingham. Awesome, good to see you. We also have Denzu. Tony is from the UK. Azib from Pakistan. Miles from Sydney, Australia. M. Raja from UK, London. Awesome, good to see. We have quite a lot of UK fans here. Wow, this is going really fast. Denzo is from Poland. Great. Let's have a look here. Alexander is from France. Mark is from Cleveland, Ohio. Brazil. Adriano. George is from Cyprus. Oh, wow. Awesome. MKI Media is from Wyoming. Gianfranco is from Italy. Fake, I think it's Fake Gallant from South Africa. Oh, awesome. We also have Juan Rodriguez from Chile. Timothy from Belgium. We also have social media video from Manchester. Awesome. All right, guys, it's good to see you all. Okay, so what we're going to do now, in fact, you know what? We're broadcasting live on Facebook and also on YouTube. So on Facebook here, let me have a look. We have quite a few here. So at any point, guys, while we're watching the show, if you have any questions, please leave your questions in the comments box. I'll do my best to respond to those questions. But please, if I do miss them, don't be upset because there's quite a lot of comments coming through, but I will do my level best to respond to them. Okay, that was just a test. Great. Okay. Right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to switch over here to my desktop and let's get the show started. All right, so over here I've also linked these updates that I'll be talking about to the post, which was done by Nick. So if you want to have a quick look at the post, it's over here. It will have pretty much a summary of all these features that we're going to be talking about. So if you want to have a great read, just head over to this post, which I've already linked in the video description. All right, so let's start with our Divi features. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the text options. Now, with the text, it was quite difficult for us to make some adjustments to to text because it was only on specific modules. Now, let me show you what I'm talking about. So let's say in fact, let me create a new section here. Right, so I'm going to come over here and add a regular section. And in this section, I'm just going to add 2 columns. Right, so in the first column, I'm just going to add a blurb. Right, so here we have a blurb. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go in and make a few adjustments to some of this text. So first of all, over here, I'm going to add a link. So I'm just going to click here and insert a blank link. Like that. And we are also going to have an ordered list. Like that. So now, now if we go into our module settings, we can come over here to design. Now, if you look here, we have this entry here, body text. So if I click here, I can actually go in and customize pretty much every single item here. So first of all, we have the link, which I just added. So if I click here on the second tab, I can actually go in and change the actual font of that link if I wanted to, just by clicking here. And let's say I change it to Ubuntu. Here on the weight, I can change that to bold. I can make it underline. So now we can so these little changes now are now available for us to use on all text modules, whereas before it was only on specific modules that we could do these changes. Now let's say I need to also adjust the ordered list. I can come over here. I can change the color just like that. I can change from regular to semi-bold. I can increase the size. Over here, I can increase the line height. So these are very minor changes, but they do take our designs to the next level. And this is really, really cool. So now we are able to go in and do this with the text. Anywhere you find text on whatever module it is that you're working on. Now, as I mentioned, this was previously available on the text module only. But now, as you can see, I'm doing this on the blurb. So, okay, I'll just save that. And we can add, another module which has text. Let's have a look here. Let's say, all right, I'm just looking for another module here which has text. Okay, testimonial. And again, as you can see here with the testimonial, let's say I come in here and I add a link, for example. Right? Now, if I come over here to design, again, we have this option here for body text, and I can go in and customize that link just like that. So it is really, really cool. It makes the whole process of working with text much, much easier. And also, by the way, as I'm going through these, I'm just scraping the surface. We can do quite a lot here with these updates. Now, the next one I'm going to talk about is really, really exciting because this is a responsive editing in pretty much all the modules. Before, again, it was only available for particular options, but now we're able to go in and do responsive editing. Okay, so let me show you how that works. So I'll do this on the blurb. Okay, so over here, I'm going to go into my options. In fact, let me have a quick look here if there's any questions regarding what I've just covered. Right. Okay, no questions so far. Tracy here says, will it slow down my sites anymore? The answer to that is no, not really. These updates will not slow down your sites at all. Your sites will still continue working fine. So do not worry about that. Let me check if we have any more questions here. Right, I'm just checking both here on Facebook and YouTube. All right, so no questions so far. I'm just going to continue now and take a look at the next item that we need to talk about. All right, so here we're talking about responsive editing. So with responsive editing, if I come over here to design, and let's say I go into body text or body font here, I can actually go into each and every one of these items here and make my changes. So let's say, for example, here I go into the tablet. I can go in and now change my size. So let's say I can change my text size here, make it slightly bigger, 18, give it a bit of a line height there. If I go to the phone, again, I can make my changes. Where is it gone? Okay, here it is. So here the text is a bit too big. Let me just reduce that. So as you can see, I can go in now and make changes to pretty much, quite a lot of options here. See, we have body height here. We also have the responsive option. And before it wasn't available for all the options. It was only available for particular options. Okay. So every time you see this little mobile phone icon here, it means that you can go and do responsive editing. Okay. So I'm just going to switch back over here to my desktop view. All right, so let's move on to the next one. Now, the next one we're going to talk about is the border width and how the interface has changed and how the UI has also changed. So if I come over here and let's say I choose to add a border to this. In fact, you know what? I'm just going to make a few changes here. So I'm just going to change this from an image to an icon, just to make my design much easier to look at. So I'm going to go with that. All right. So let's say now in my design, I decide to add a border. It's going to be, let's say, 5 pixels. I'm going to add a border width. And let's add some padding to that. So I'm going to come over here to padding and let's add 20 all around. Right. So now with this, if I come over here and let's say I go to my box shadow here, if we take a look at the interface now, we are able to, where's the option I'm looking for? Oh, okay. What I meant to be talking about is these 3 little dots here. Sorry about that. Anyway, so what I'm going to talk about here is the help text for every option. So the help text for every option, every time you hover over each item here, you'll see this question mark. So if you take a look here on box shadow, for example, if you click this question mark, it shows you now what this box shadow does. So for example, here it says pick a box shadow to enable box shadow for this element. Okay, so this is just telling you pretty much what to do and what this does. Okay, and this works on pretty much everything. Now here I have rounded corners. If I click here on this question mark, it also tells you here you can control the corner radius of this element, enable this link to control the 4 corners at once, or disable the to define custom values. So if I disable here, I can add, let's say 15 or let's say 25 to this side and 25 to this side. So pretty much what it's telling us here is how to customize the way the borders, the rounded corners here are going to look. And this can be found pretty much on any module. So let me close this and let's say I come over here to this testimonial module. And again, even here on the author, it's pretty much everywhere. Input the name of the testimonial author. If I come over here to job title, it also has it here. So this now helps you to understand what is going on our builder. And if you're not sure what each particular item does, you can actually go in and read what it does, and then this will help you. Now, this does not take over the help option, because remember, we have a help option which is very, very good, whereby if you click on the question mark, it shows you the video of how to use that particular module. So let me show you where that is. So if I come back over here, if I scroll all the way down, now this is the testimonial module. So we still have this question mark here, but this now has blue. So if I click on this, this now will show me what this module does in the form of a video. So this was just an addition that was added to our Divi Builder. So we still have the video instructions here and the keyboard shortcuts. And this is the addition that was made, whereby we can just put our mouse over here and this will tell us what this particular item does. Okay, so I'm just going to take a quick look here and see if we have any questions. Whisper Hub says, am I right in thinking that when you select a mobile edit option, it shouldn't change how it looks on the desktop? Yes, you're absolutely right. And I can do a quick demonstration here for you so you can see how that works. All right, so I'm just going to save this and let me look for something I can use here for a demo. All right, so let me just use, let's say, this text right here. So if I click here on the module settings, design. So what I'm going to work with here is just the heading text. Right, so here on the heading text, in fact, let me make sure you can see my screen here. Right, so here I'm going to click on this little icon, and let's say for the heading, the size is 60 is fine. Tablet, we're going to change this to, let's say, 38. In fact, maybe even lower, so you can actually see the difference. And then on the phone, we're going to change that to, let's say, 22. Right, so if I switch between these three, you can see here this stays big. This is slightly smaller, and now this is the phone. Okay, so now I'm going to switch over here to our views. Save that. Right, so now you can see here it hasn't changed. I mean, it has changed to comply with the tablet view. And now if I click the phone, you can see there the size has gone smaller. So whatever change you make in the responsive editing only applies to that particular view that you're working with. So if you make changes to the tablet view, it doesn't affect the desktop view. If you make changes to the desktop view, it doesn't affect the mobile view. So that's how it works. All right, so I'm just going to check again and see if we have any more questions. Okay, so I hope I've answered that. That's great. Andrew says, can we make the text in the center in mobile and make it at the left on desktop? Yeah, I'm sure you can do that. Let's see. So I'm going to go back in here. So here it says center on mobile. Okay, so I'm going to switch over here to design, heading text, and then I am going to choose my views. So I'm going to come over here on tablet. In fact, let me go to phone. So here you can see I've aligned it to the right. I don't know if you saw that. You can also align it to the center. So this is what you can do here. You can just align it. You can just use your alignments here. So this alignment here is applying to the phone, but over here on the tablet. Oh, hang on. That's strange. Okay, so let me switch over to desktop now. Right, the alignments, it looks like the alignments apply to all the three views, because I've just tried it now and it's only working on the three views. So if you center, it centers both on three options: the desktop, the mobile, and the tablet. So we cannot align these based on the screen size. Okay, let's see. Krishnam, yes, I mean iPad and mobile. So when I talk about these devices, I'm talking about these three devices: the desktop, the mobile, and the smartphone. Jake says you need to first enable mobile for alignment. Right, you know what? It sounds crazy, but I haven't actually used that option. Right, let's have a look here. Right, Jake, I'll need to have a look at that and see where I can enable the mobile for alignment. Okay, click the phone icon on alignment. Okay. Right, Jake, I've just done that. Right, my Divi guy says try heading text alignment. Okay. Right, why didn't I think of that? Okay, over here. Okay, so now this is centered. Let's have a look. If I go on the tablet. Okay, now it's to the right, and then on the phone, let's say this is the left. Let's see if this has changed now. Yes, this is working. Okay, so let me just show you quickly. So over here, if you take a look at the heading text alignment, this is what I was meant to have done. So when you work with these, you need to make sure that you're doing the changes to that particular item. So on heading text alignment, you can see here on the desktop, it's aligned to the center. But if I come over here to the tablet, it's aligned to the right. And then if I come over here to the phone, it's aligned to the left. So it does work. Sorry about that. Right. Okay. So let's move on to the next item. And the next item we're going to talk about is also very, very helpful. It also speeds our workflow. But before I do that, I just want to take a quick look here at the comments and see if there's any more comments right here. Right, so I'm going to check here on Facebook as well because we are on Facebook too. Right. Bruno says everything is beginning to be strange. Not sure what that is. Alignment is dependent on views yet. Click on the mobile item on the hovering when hovering over the alignments. Yes, Peter, thank you very much for that tip. In fact, you know what? Sometimes when you're on the live show, things just go crazy. And I just went blank for a moment there. Okay. Bruno says, take a look at oxygen. No thanks, Bruno. I'm a Divi guy. Mohammed says, is this update already available? Yes, it is available. If you go and update your Divi theme or Divi Builder plugin, it's going to be there. So these updates that I'm talking about right now, they are available if you update your Divi theme or your Divi Builder plugin. All right, so let's have a look here one more time and see if we have any questions. Right, the real... Mark Spain says, stand corrected. Right, okay. We're going to move over now and let's talk about the next items. And the next item I'm going to talk about is the help. I've spoken about the help text for every option. Right, so the next thing we're going to talk about is the triple dot. Now, if you haven't noticed this, in fact, let me save this so we can start from scratch. Okay. Now, We have a new addition to our UI, and this is the triple dots. If you click on them, they are going to now reveal even more information. So if you take a look here, you may have not noticed this. In fact, I only noticed this when this was mentioned by Nick. Right, so you see these triple dots here that show up when you hover. If you click on them, now they show other options. So here we can save to library, we can do a split test, we can disable, we can lock. So if I click on lock here, you can see now we have this lock. So that means as I'm editing, I won't pretty much go in and make a mistake and try to move it around. So these triple dots here are pretty much available everywhere, right? So this makes things easier for us. Now before, we just used to do the right click. I mean, the right click still works, but this one here will show you pretty much everything that you need. So extend styles, view modified style, paste module, reset module styles, copy module, and as I mentioned, the lock, disable, split test, save to library, and so on. So this makes things quite, much easier. Now, even if I go into my settings here, so let me go into my module settings. You'll notice that we also have it here as well, right here next to the text. So if I click here, you can see we have copy text, we have reset text. So pretty much it's everywhere. Look, here on the link, copy link, reset link. We even have it here on the top, on the text settings. So we can undo, redo, save to library, split test, and so on. Now this also works on rows. So I'm going to come over here to the row. If you can see, we can split test the row, copy row styles, reset row styles, and so on. If I click on this gear icon, again, even here on the design, if I come on the sizing, for example, I can click here and we can copy sizing styles and paste them to different parts of our designs. So pretty much everything here has those little dots. Okay, so here, max width, we can do a find and replace, copy width, reset width, extend width, max width. So this is really, really cool. All right, so moving on, and this is, in fact, before we talk about the last option, for those of you that are just joining us, this is the Divi Feature Update Live. This is a show where we go into detail about the Divi updates that are released, and we can go through some Q&As, talk about ways that we can use these features and answer some questions along the way. So like I said, if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments box and I'll do my best to respond to them. We are broadcasting live on Facebook and also on YouTube. All right, so let's have a look here. Carol says it would be nice to have a Dutch translation of Divi. Now, I am going to touch a bit on the translations as well, because these are mentioned in this update. Unfortunately, I can't really do a demo because I only speak one language, so that's the challenge that I have. But we do have translations now, and the translations are using the Google Translator. So that's something that has been added to this particular update. All right, let's have a look here. Uncle Social has a very interesting comment here. He says, I wish Divi Builder defaulted to the mobile or tablet options. In the Builder, we live in a mobile-first world. Come on, elegant themes. Show some Apple-style courage. Yeah, but to be honest, I'm not sure about that one, because I think, in fact, this is just my opinion. There are some certain niches where the desktop is more popular than the mobile views. Like, for example, I'm not saying, because I'm giving an example of my site, this applies to everyone. When I take a look at the traffic on coming on my own blog, I noticed that it's still 70% desktop. So it could be that Elegant Themes is holding back on that because they have done the research and noticed that there are still quite a number of websites still using the desktop, still on the desktop. Okay. Karen says, late to the show, have you said anything about moving things with drag and drop? And has this been imported? It never works for me. Karen, can you just try and update your Divi theme and try and do it again? Because it could be a bug that was fixed in this latest update. So what I'm talking about today is the brand new latest update, which has the features that we're talking about today. Karen here says another update perhaps should give you an option to default to mobile phone or desktop or tablet. I think that's a fantastic idea. So for those, and this goes with what Uncle Social was saying. So let's say you're building your website and you want your website to be mobile first. There should be an option where you just go in and just say mobile. And then the mobile becomes the first view that your website turns into before everything else. I think that's a very, very good feature. And I will mention this in our meeting today. Thank you very much for that. All right. Biker Breed says, any update on the WooCommerce Builder? No update on the WooCommerce Builder. This will be coming. And I know I keep saying this every live show that we're going to be bringing all these features. I have no idea when these are coming, but all I know is these features that we're asking for, header and footer, WooCommerce, theme builder, they are coming, they are in the pipeline, but I don't have the exact dates. Okay. Shano, I've just answered this question because I know it's quite common. Right, let me just check here on Facebook and see. All right, so let's move on and let me show you some more features that we have here. Right, so the next thing we are going to take a look at here is we've just spoken about the triple dot. Now, let's talk about the Divi color manager to the background option. Now, I don't know about you guys, but every time you go and try and add a color to a background, pretty much all we had was the color palette, and we didn't have any options to actually go in and add our colors. So now we have the ability to do that. So let me show you how to do that. So I'm just going to come over here to my section settings, click on background. Now this is pretty much what it looked like, but now we have these colors here on the bottom, whereas before all we had was just the color palette. I mean the color wheel. So now we can actually go in here and work with all these colors because the color manager now has been added. So let's say I want to change my colors here. I can go in and change these colors easily. In fact, I'm not sure. Okay, this color could have been added here. Okay, so again, if I click here on these colors, my color manager now shows, so I can go in and play around with these colors and start changing them around. So here I'm on the gradient tool. So I can actually click here, add my colors. If I need to change them around, I can still click here and choose my colors just like that. So I think this is really cool because before I used to copy and paste the hex code. So now your colors are going to be consistent because if you use this color manager, you notice that this will also show you your recent colors. So even if they have transparency, you're going to have them there. And this now again speeds up your workflow. And this is really, really cool. So no more copying and pasting. You can just come over here and quickly take a look at your color palette. So this is also a very good addition to the UI adjustments and also the new settings. All right, so moving on, let's take a look at forms. So I'm just going to click here on this plus button and add a form. Right, so here on this contact form, if I click here on design, We also have all these options that I was talking about. So you can see here we have all our colors, our input colors. Now this is much easier to use because it's pretty much where you would expect to see it. And over here again, we have these three little dots where you can copy the border styles and paste them to other locations that you may want to add them. And we also have these triple dots here as well, as I mentioned, and also the question mark. So if I click here, the question mark is there. I can click here and it tells me what this is about. So as I mentioned, the question mark, the triple dots, and all these features that pretty much can be found on any module, really. So the last thing I'm going to talk about is the missing translations. Now, this is something that I haven't used myself because I only speak one language, so I haven't had time to look at it. But for those of you that speak more than one language and would like Divi translated, now Divi has the missing translations, and these are now added in as Google translations, so you can actually go in there and start using it that way. Now, unfortunately, I can't really do a demo of that because, as I mentioned, I only speak English, so I can't go in and do that demo. But this update is there, and for more information about that, please go to the post which I've linked to in the show notes below. It goes into depth and also shows you how that works. All right, so again, I'm just going to take a quick look here and see if we have any questions. Karen says, like the recent color option, great improvement, time saver. Yes, absolutely. Every time I tried to add background colors, I used to struggle. I used to copy the color, paste it, because there was no way of having that color saved on my recently used colors. So I'm really, really excited about this. So pretty much just to summarize this, we have quite a lot of additions to the UI, and I've just scraped the surface here. If you go into each minute detail, you'll find that in each of these modules, if you go in, you can actually see some of these things. You may not notice them because, to be honest, these are things that were supposed to have been there to enable you to work faster. So they've just been added. And from according to what Nick says, I mean, we're talking about hundreds of these little changes that have been done to the Visual Builder to make it work faster. Okay. Rob Chalk says, how do I update Divi? Right, so let me just show you quickly how to do that. All right, so I'm just going to switch over here to my desktop. So if you want to update Divi, you want to make sure you're here in your dashboard. I'm just going to discard and exit. So you want to be on this screen here. And in fact, I forgot to mention this right at the beginning. If you want to update Divi, sometimes the update doesn't show. So what you want to do is to click here where it says updates. So this refreshes the cache, and if there's any updates, it will actually show up here. So make sure you click on your dashboard and then click where it says updates. Sometimes it doesn't show, but if you click here where it says updates, your update will show here, and then you want to go ahead and update your Divi theme. All right, let's have a look here. Frederick says, is it possible that you'll move one day to a React front end decoupled with the back end using WordPress as headless CMS? Frederick, I'm not sure what you're referring to on this question. So to be honest, I can't really attempt to even answer that because I'm not sure what you're referring to, because it looks like we're talking about a React, the programming language, I think. I'm not sure. So if you want to rephrase that, please, I'll be in a position to answer you. Biker Breed says contact form input text field borders is a nice feature. Let's have a look at that. Right, let's go to all pages. Right, I'll just click on add new. Okay, use Divi Builder, and then I'm going to build this from scratch. Right, so on the contact form, input field. Right, so here, this is actually something I forgot to mention. So Bike of Breed, thank you very much for just pointing me to this little update here. So when you work with forms now, before it used to be a pain just to go in and add some padding to this and trying to customize this. Now look at all these colors that we have here. Fields background, we can just go in there, boom, just add our color just like that. Fields text color, we can change it to white, even yellow, just like that. Focus background. So everything is where it's supposed to be, and it just makes the job of designing really, really easy. And in fact, it makes it even fun, to work on these forms. And let's say you want to add a bit of transparency. Again, you can just come over here and just add your transparency just like that. Now, here's the thing. The field margin and the field padding is really, really cool. So over here, let's say you want to add some padding. You can just drag your slider like that. And now we've made this padding we've increased the padding of this. So this is really, really cool. Before we had to go to sizing and then go into padding, and it was just a long process. So now it's easier to do just by coming over here to field padding. Here we also have a field margin. So here on the top, you can just add your margin like that. If you want to add to the top and the bottom, you can see here, we can reduce the size between the forms, the form elements. Again, this is really, really cool. A Bike of Breed here says definitely it was a pain to customize this before. This is a nice feature. I agree with you 100%. This can be done really, really, really fast now. As you can see here, I'm adjusting my margin, the padding. Fields font, you can go in the fields font here and change it really, really fast. So everything pretty much is where it's supposed to be, which is really, really, really cool. All right, so pretty much I think I've covered the most important things here. Karen says love padding increase simplicity. I have to use it a lot because of my websites to have to be usable for visually impaired people. Oh wow. So this is even great, that this update has been able to make things easier for you, Karen. Fantastic. All right. I think I've covered pretty much most of the things that are quite important and much easier to find. So go ahead, play around with Divi, start using these features. As I mentioned, if you want to use these features, just update Divi by going into your dashboard and clicking update, and this should update Divi. So this update is available right now. We're looking forward to future updates. Like I said in the earlier on, I'm not 100% sure when the header and footer or the all these other features are coming out, WooCommerce or Theme Builder. I don't have the timeline, but one thing that I know is our team is working behind the scenes very hard to make sure that when these features are delivered, they work seamless and they don't break anything when they are released. But we are going to be getting all these updates. I can really assure you that. All right, so for everyone that joined me today, I'd like to say thank you very much. I really, really appreciate it. You've made this show really exciting, and everyone that joined us from pretty much everywhere from different parts of the world. It's really exciting that you join into this live show. It's really, really cool. Now, I'm not sure if you're going to have the show next Monday, but hopefully we're going to have these features so we can come back to how it was before, where this show was every Monday, because I really love doing live shows and interacting with you guys. So looking forward to that. And if there's a live show, if there's a feature that has been released this week, you'll be sure to see me on Monday talking about the feature, going through all the latest features and so on. Right, I'm just going to take One quick look at the comments here before I end the show. Beth says, bye from Australia. Thank you from India, from Bike of Breed. Awesome. Krishnam says, thank you a lot, Mac. You're welcome. Great show from Karen. Yes, thank you very much. Let's have a look here if there's any questions. Victoria Rowe says, is this version 3.3? I'm not really sure the version number, but I can tell you that it's the latest one, the latest one. Okay. All right, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great rest of the week. I will see you again very, very soon. Take care and keep designing awesome looking websites. Take care.